We're here today because there's something happening in Washington that's really getting a lot of attention. Whether you follow politics closely or not, it's going to impact your life, especially if you're a senior or know someone who depends on Medicaid. President Trump's massive $4.9 trillion plan, which he calls his Big Beautiful Bill, has Congress locked in late-night meetings. And people like you and me are feeling uneasy about it. But what's really going on behind all these headlines and late-night votes? Well, there's a crucial part of this bill that could significantly affect how much care you get, or even whether your local clinic stays open. Stick with me, because I'll help you make sense of all the noise and explain what to expect in the coming weeks. But before we dive deeper, take a second to let me know in the comments. Do you feel like Washington's plans ever truly help you and your family? Or do they tend to forget about regular folks? I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. And if you appreciate calm, clear updates like this, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any future discussions. So, let's get into what this bill really means for you. At its core, the Big Beautiful Bill is Trump's attempt to fulfill his promises. He calls it a historic gift to the American people, and some parts of it aim to cut taxes for the middle class and reduce what they call waste in government programs. Sounds good on paper, right? But here's where it gets tricky, and maybe a little worrying. One major aspect of this plan involves slashing $715 billion from Medicaid over the next decade. If you've ever had to help a parent move into a nursing home, or if you rely on home health care, you know that Medicaid is a critical support system for many seniors, especially in rural areas. I personally remember when my aunt needed home care after knee surgery, and Medicaid helped cover those costs. If these cuts go through, families like mine, maybe even yours, might have to figure out how to pay out of pocket, or go without. But it's not just about nursing homes. Small hospitals in rural areas could face closures or staff cuts if they lose funding. There's even concern that clinics in states like North Carolina and Missouri, where rural hospitals are already under pressure, might not survive another round of cuts. This would mean fewer nurses, longer drives just to see a doctor, and possibly waiting weeks for an appointment. It's a ripple effect that could be pretty scary if you stop to think about it. Now, here's where things get really messy. To push this massive bill through quickly, Congress is using a process called budget reconciliation. This process allows them to pass the bill with fewer votes and bypass a Senate filibuster. But there's a catch: the Senate parliamentarian, who acts like the referee for the rules, just cut 12 major parts from the bill because they didn't meet the necessary criteria. For example, issues like giving states control over immigration and selling off large portions of public land were removed. As a result, senators are scrambling to rewrite sections and keep the key elements intact. It's like trying to fix a car while it's speeding down the freeway. Meanwhile, Trump has been very vocal about this, even posting online urging senators to lock themselves in a room and not take a vacation till the deal is done. The pressure is building because they want to get this done before the 4th of July. Why? Well, elections are around the corner, and passing a major bill would give politicians something to brag about during rallies and on TV. But that rush comes with tension, and there's a risk that some groups will be left out in the process. So, who's supporting this bill, and who's against it? Supporters argue that cutting waste and offering tax breaks to businesses will boost the economy and create jobs. This is similar to the old supply-side economics, which assumes that lower taxes for the wealthy will eventually benefit everyone. But polls show that many Americans aren't buying it. Approval ratings for the bill are stuck below 40%. Unions are running ads showing the potential consequences of Medicaid cuts or rural clinics shutting down, which you might have seen showing crowded emergency rooms or seniors losing essential caregivers. One question I often see in the comments is, won't tax cuts leave people with more money in their pockets? And yes, maybe for some, but studies show that the wealthiest 1% would get the bulk of the benefits, while those earning less could lose up to $1,600 a year. That's a lot, especially when you're relying on Social Security or a small pension. Also, here's something that not everyone's talking about. Some budget experts suggest that even with these cuts, the plan might not save money in the long term. If the popular business tax breaks become permanent, the national debt could increase by another $2.4 trillion. This means less money for Medicaid, but more debt for future generations to deal with. It's a strange trade-off, and that's why people on both sides of the political aisle are nervous about it. Some senators, like Josh Hawley from Missouri, have been open about their concerns. He represents a state with many rural hospitals and has said that rural health care will suffer if this bill passes. Republican leaders have floated the idea of creating a rural fund to cushion the impact, but nobody is clear yet on how that would work. So, a lot of people are waiting to see how things play out, making it difficult for families to plan ahead. Now, if you're a senior or care for one, what does all of this mean for your day-to-day life? Well, depending on what stays in the final version of the bill, you might face stricter Medicaid eligibility rules. This could mean more paperwork, additional checks on your income, or new work requirements for some individuals. It might also result in fewer funds for nursing homes and caregivers, potentially leading to facility closures, fewer available beds, or the inability to admit patients. This has a lot of families on edge right now. Let's take a quick history lesson to put this in perspective. Remember when President Bush pushed for Medicare Part D? Many people were worried about the cost, but over time, it became just another part of the system. The same thing happened with the Affordable Care Act under President Obama. There were big fights at first, but once it passed, it was hard to undo. So, if Trump's bill passes, whether you like it or not, parts of it could stick around for years, even if Congress changes hands. That's why everyone is so focused on what's in it right now. One more thing to think about: trust. Many people feel like big donors get what they want, while everyday citizens are left waiting. This bill highlights that tension. Some parts of it favor big businesses, while others cut funding for essential programs that serve regular people. It's a tough balancing act, and it's understandable to feel skeptical when promises are made that everything will work out. Additionally, behind the scenes, there's talk that if the parliamentarian continues blocking parts of this bill, Trump might push Senate leaders to overrule her or even replace her. This would be highly unusual and would spark a major debate about how far the rules can be bent. So there's a lot of drama unfolding, and it could erupt any day now. What happens next? Honestly, it's changing by the hour. Senators are still debating, rewriting, and trying to win over those who are unsure. Trump's deadline is July 4th, but if they miss it, they might have to go back to the drawing board or face a major split within the party. For the rest of us, the best thing to do is stay informed, ask questions, and reach out to your local representatives if you have concerns. If you have aging parents or are helping with their care, now is a good time to check how they would be affected if Medicaid rules change. Talk to your neighbors too. The more we understand, the less surprised we'll be when big changes hit. Before you go, let me know in the comments. Do you trust that cutting government spending will always benefit the economy, or do you think it usually harms regular people? I really want to hear what you think. And if you found this discussion helpful, please hit the subscribe button so we can keep talking about issues that affect you, your family, and your future. Thanks for spending time with me today. Keep an eye out. What happens in the next few days could surprise us all. Take care, and I'll see you soon.